The article I chose was Dynamic Selective Environments and Evolutionary Traps in Human-Dominated Landscapes. So the first question is, what is evolution? Evolution is the change in the characteristics of a species over several generations and relies on the process of natural selection. Natural selection is the process whereby organisms better adapted to their environment tend to survive and produce more offspring. The theory of its action was first fully expounded by Charles Darwin and is now believed to be the main process that brings about evolution. What is the article about? Human activities have had a huge impact and caused rapid changes in a variety of biological, physical, and chemical attributes of the environment, especially within cities. These changes may influence the usefulness of certain traits as signals, or in some cases, may signal incorrect information, creating ecological or evolutionary traps. Evolutionary traps is where once adapted behaviors become maladapted in the new selected environment. Carotenoids have long been a focus for studies of honesty of signals because unlike melanins or structurally derived colors, carotenoid-based plumage can signal condition by way of individuals' diet and access to food. Carotenoid-based coloration can also be caused by physiological stress and inflection. Carotenoid-based plumage coloration is correlated with reproductive success for a variety of species. So on the top is the northern cardinal, the middle is the house finch, and the last one is the barn swallow. Sexual traits evolve under temporarily and spatially heterogeneous selective environments that can produce notable exceptions to associations between traits and fitness. Environmental changes associated with urban developments may have a strong influence on birds with plumage that is highly dependent upon pigments obtained from their diet. Carotenoid-based plumages. And plumages is a bird's feather. In this study, the scientists examined the relationship between plumage correlation and annual reproductive output for the sexually dichromatic, socially monogamous northern cardinal. The bright red plumage of cardinals is carotenoid-based and dependent upon diet acquired during molt, which is the shedding of old feathers, which occurs in late summer and autumn during periods of high fruit availability. The picture on the screen was from the article, and this is the study of where the cardinals took place. And it also talks about the forest width, the numbers of buildings, agriculture, mowed lawns, and paved roads within that area. There were many method and materials used during this study. The first was the study sites. So cardinals were studied at 14 mature riparian forests located along a rural-urban gradient in central Ohio, USA. The forests were comparable in both shape and landscape configuration, but differently primarily in the dominant land use type. The second was feather collection and color measurement. So feathers were collected from 280 northern cardinals captured in mist nests during breeding season from early March to August in the years 2006 to 2008. 6 to 10 feathers were collected from the breasts of each male, and 3 to 6 feathers were underwing covers of both wings of females. Hue, saturation, and brightness was measured using the Adobe Photoshop CS2. The last was the reproductive output. So the cardinals were marked with the U.S. Geological Survey stainless steel band and a unique combination of color bands. Nests were generally located early in the nesting stage and were checked every 1 to 3 days. For the nests that successfully fledged young, numbers of young cardinals were determined by either counting the number of nestlings immediately prior to fledging or by observing parents and young for extended periods near the time of fledging. These were some of the results. So annual reproduction, the annual number of young produced by males declined with plumage brightness, but only in rural landscapes. Females with redder hues were associated with fewer numbers of young produced over the season. Reproductive phenology of males was related to a strong brightness times urbanization interaction and was unrelated to hue. For females, neither hue nor brightness was unrelated to the first egg date. The relationship between male and brightness and nest location differed between rural and urban landscapes. Understory vegetation surrounded nests was related to the male brightness in rural but not urban landscapes. So there are many solutions that humans can go about, one being they can restore natural habitats in their community. They can also stop most air pollution that comes from car emissions, dust, gas, pollen, etc. Limiting the amount of lawn chemicals and pesticides, stop cutting down the trees and forests in urban areas, and then the establishment of natural preserves and parks and creating own bird domains. And this is my works cited. Thank you for watching.